Yo, what's up, Mari? Glad you can make it. We missed you at the last one. And if anyone missed the last one, we had a great talk with TikTok Taj, who's a great content creator on TikTok. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
Good, good. So I figured kind of while we wait for things to fill up, we can kind of just talk about sort of the state of things right now in crypto and sort of, some people, this might be their first bear market that they're about to go through. And yeah, sort of like you and I, we're veterans, and we've seen at least two of these before. And I think some people get scared, but I think this time we're a lot better positioned to kind of recover and land at like a softer landing than like 2018, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone through a few cycles now, and they all like relative to the kind of delirious highs that always precede them. They all feel like the end of the world, but each one has been like you know if we were at the numbers that we're at right now, like during the highest part of the earlier peaks, like we would be psyched about it. It's just like right now it looks bad compared to where it came to. So yeah, I mean, the market the market is cyclical, and our particular market happens to be such that the lowest parts get higher every time it happens, and so it's just kind of waiting it out at this point.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing with this is we've never seen a top 10 coin go to zero so quickly.
Yeah,
And I kind of was thinking about like these algorithmic stable coins, they're kind of this holy grail. They're like this money out of nothing that people are going to try to make. And I just want people to realize that those type of projects, um, they always kind of end the same. So if you can't trace the value of the token back to something, then you're kind of about to be taken for a ride. So this is sort of that lesson that I feel like I learned back in 2017. I think everyone's learning it now, and it's gonna be better overall, I think, for the whole market.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like I don't know if it's time yet to fully write off the idea of an algorithmic stablecoin. Like, there is precedent in the world for like measures of value that don't have a backing. Like I think the biggest one is the British pound, and based on its the way it works, like pretty much every other major economic market in the world. But the thing with algorithmic stablecoins is that it's kind of an experiment to see if we can um, base this off of something that is like a result of modern technology, and it's taking something that is like naturally unstable and trying to make it stable by just by the brute force of innovation. And every time we fail at that, then the thing becomes unstable, and obviously and Luna's not even the first. Like there was Reserve before that, and like there were other projects that were trying to do the same thing, and they all eventually shuttered or gave up. But like because they failed, I don't know if it's impossible. It might be. I don't know. It's a bit of an oxymoron to call it a stablecoin, because the way that algorithmic stablecoins are doing is they're essentially trying to take chaos and make it and like tame it. But like different companies have tried different things, and I think it's still possible that one will eventually work. It's just that yeah, when there's nothing behind it, then you can get into these vicious cycles that I mean, and it's basically the same method that caused like the Great Depression and stuff. So it's not anything we haven't seen before, but it's
Yeah.
just it's on such unsteady ground that like it can go just real fast.
Yeah, and it's on a time scale we've never seen before too. It's like I mean, you have something born. I feel like maybe it's like 3 years, 4 years, maybe,
About that, yeah.
maybe, yeah. And to go from being worth billions to zero, and to have that like run on the banks happen so quickly, I think that's just what crypto is. But I wonder, like something like an algorithmic stablecoin or a stablecoin like that, at the end of the day, like once that gets made, it's still about the use case. Like, what are we using the stablecoin for? Like,
Yeah.
how are we trading it? What are we buying? Where's the marketplace, right? Where's the Amazon? Where's the Shopify? And yeah, it's tricky. It's like we're creating this new financial system. People are trying to make money on it, and they are going to make money on it. But then there's going to be the financial system itself, and like it's going to run. So I think we should think about it that way too. Like we're still super early. We're still like AOL sending you CDs in the mail early when it comes to this. So we have the ability to make these new financial products. And I think what we believe with Vibranium is we should build something that is built on a value that exists and then turn that into something that can be digitally exchanged and manipulated and protected, instead of just like, let's use math to make the money, you know?
Yeah. And like, I think you touched on something that's interesting, and that is a factor that is not being talked about that much in sort of like why the terror system crashed. Like, I think a lot of what is talked about right now is are the mechanisms, which very broadly is just that terror is meant to be stable and is meant to and that stability is meant to be protected by the sister currency Luna and its allowance to be unstable, and ensure that whenever the price of USD goes down, they get rid of Luna. They trade Luna for USD to sort of pop up the amount, and whenever the price of Terra goes up, they use Luna to buy it, to bring it back down. So they're just essentially they're sacrificing the stability of one currency to manage the other one. But like if some major external thing happens that causes the price to go down, then like it can cause a vicious cycle that causes other people to then sell more USD, which in turn causes more people to sell USD, and it can decrease. Like there might not be enough Luna in the world to offset the amount of Terra that's being sold. So that's sort of the mechanics. But one thing that you touched on is like, with the lack of a use case, like with regular money, let's just talk about USD. Like a large portion of all the money that gets moved every day is just like purely financial reasons, like the stock market and speculation and speculative assets and so on. But there's also just like, a ton of people who are just holding it to buy sandwiches tomorrow and for transactions as well. Hey, what's up?
Hey. Oh, wow.
Brought on for this.
Wow.
B first was like 55. They're gonna call you up.
Wow. The vibe
just
like the Friday vibe just really turned up.
Fridays, but I really appreciate a lot of the things that you know. I appreciate everything that you said. I think it's really important, more so now than ever, to exercise a level of discernment and projects that you don't understand the kind of comments that you safety. If there isn't like a utility and the why behind it, it's going to be able to happen. But when I'm really concerned about legislation and the aftermath, that's not to put the conference on. Happy Fancy Fridays.
I think I caught like half of that, but
yeah.
I
So
to address
your background music is pretty loud. It's hard to hear you.
That Cassie is booming.
Oh my God! I gotta go to another place. I'll be back.
Oh no, that's
okay. We'll call you back up.
Right? You can hear me better now, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. We'll call you back up.
BRB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to finish the thought, like,
yeah,
because Terra was being used almost exclusively for the purposes of finance, without there being a whole lot of real world applications. Like when these big financial moves are being made, like these speculative moves, that can constitute like a massive portion of the total application of that currency, and that is what leads to it sort of like inherent precariousness.
Yeah. Well, I think the point that she was making in the chat that I wanted her to elaborate on is like the people who took it down, they made money off of it. So really,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a sort of survival of the fittest type thing, like evolutionary process where people are going to probably try to keep making these. They're going to always be risky, and they're kind of always going to like pose a potential win for someone who can kind of figure out, who has enough money to like shift it a bit. And it's interesting. I mean, I guess you would assume that that would eventually lead to one of these working kind of the same way Bitcoin has remained. But yeah, it's interesting. Like people made mad money off of it, and
Yeah.
they were just smart enough to kind of see through the cracks, and kind of they knew enough human behavior to think, okay, people are gonna, if this goes below a certain amount, people are just gonna pull out in droves.
Yeah, I mean, and just to cover our tracks, like it's still speculation that this was actually an attack. I mean, definitely somebody made money off of it, regardless. But whether this was a purposeful attack that was engineered to make money, that seems very likely at this point. Like I believe that that's likely the case, but it's still speculation. It's not quite proven yet. So just so we don't want to make any claims that are not covered. But yeah, no, like and there were other factors like. The convex switch from the 3 pool to the 4 pool, so there was not as much liquidity available, and it allowed this person allegedly to or person or group to sort of like wipe out the available liquidity of these pools with relatively little of the Terra that was available. Like all these things are factors. Like it was very clever and it was very well timed, and it was done at the exact right time that it would hurt the market the most, which suggests that it was an intentional attack and not just a coincidence. But regardless, whether it's intentional or not, people definitely made money off of it because there's always money to be made for value being changed. But yeah, I mean that is just to start to get back to your point. That is kind of why. More of the attention and more of the energy needs to be moved towards networks that are using tokens or digital currencies to sort of represent value that already exists in the world, rather than sort of like create value out of thin air.
Yeah, I mean, I always think about Filecoin as like the most simple and easiest pitch, which is, the tokens are tied to the value of storage space on storing data and retrieving it. And that has a price. No matter what the token is at, it's going to be some multiple or fraction of the value of what you would pay to have your data stored. And when we talk about digital money, we have a chance to create a whole new financial system that is built on something different. We had gold, which was the base of our money for a while, and then it became, nothing, just digital, just numbers. And then it's funny to see these like purely algorithmic stablecoins basically trying to make a new dollar, which there's a lot of money to be made if you can do that, but you're not making necessarily a better system. You're just making a system that's similar to the one we have that you now control. And I think like we should try to build new forms of value because we can now. Like we have that ability. So it's going to be, it's exciting. It's still exciting. And I think like these things, like all these financial instruments, they're fascinating. But I think at the end of the day, like they're not necessarily going to be the revolution, except for a few people,
Yeah, I mean that kind of sort of like harkens back to what we talked about in the last call, which is just when these sort of like groundbreaking revolutionary new technologies are released into the world, it takes a while for the human imagination to adjust such that we can figure out exactly what this thing offers and how it can change our lives. And usually the first applications are just slightly better versions of things that we already have, and they're not even always better. But just like we have to, like, before we can venture out into the unknown, we have to kind of like tread water near things that we recognize. And yeah, like using crypto just to make another form of the dollar is cool, and it has a lot of benefits and a lot of applications, but it's sort of the least imaginative application of this technology, and it's one that was needed as a facilitator for certain types of for DeFi and certain types of financial transactions, but is kind of like only the first step for where this technology is going to go.
Yeah, totally. I think, just going back to the idea of the sort of pipe dreams, the potential scammy projects out there and what to look out for. I think, there's a community. Look and see if there's a community there, but also are they sort of transparent with their building? And do you feel like if someone's rushing you to make a decision, like, you got to get in now, you got to buy this NFT before it hits this price, that's a sign that you're probably the third person to hear that. Like, you're probably the third person to get the urgency pitch. So, yeah, I just think in general, we're going to just start moving more to these real projects that have value innately, and then they build up more. Garrett, what was your first major crypto dive that you went through? Was that 2018 or before that?
Yes, that would have been the first one, because I saw the like the Mt. Gox era crash from the outside. I was not invested at that point. So if you mean the first one that I witnessed, then that'll be Mt. Gox. If you mean the first one where I actually lost money, then yeah, that'll be the 2018 one. That one, I think, I was still pretty early on, and I invested, I would say, about $4,000, and I made 30,000 in like a very short amount of time. And I thought that what everybody thinks when things are going up, which is that it's gonna keep going up forever. And so I was holding on to it, just ready for that 100,000, and so I crashed back down to like 6,000 or 7,000, which is it's still making money, but it's like I saw 70% of the value of the currency that I've been holding go just vanish in like a couple weeks, and that one felt like the end of the world. Like I felt like I had ruined everything, and like this was the worst financial decision I ever made, and blah blah blah. But I've been through a couple since then, and it always bounces back. Like at this point, I have this kind of Zen approach to it, where I'm just like, everything that I'm involved in personally, everything that I invest in, everything that I care about and pay attention to, I'm not in for the bump that we're going to see next year. I'm in because that in 10 years is going to change the world. And so if it's down for a couple of years, that's not a big deal for me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, that's the shift. Yeah, you kind of got to go through that moment of like, wait a minute, what's happening? And then you remember, okay, I'm in this for the long haul. This is still really early. And yeah, that's a lesson everyone's going to have to learn. I think it is scary. And Sean Perez, if you want to get on stage, I can invite you up, because I would love to kind of hear your thoughts on this. But I just think that we should be clear that this is a early, almost Wild West that we're in, and it's seriously like you got to just hold on, because it's crazy. Like the fact that something can go from being over 200 billion to zero in a week, like the opposite can happen too. But I remember in that first crash, I had Mana, which was like the Decentraland token.
Right.
I had so much of that, and I was just looking at it, and this was before metaverse was even like a phrase, and I was just sitting on it, and it just kept going. It was like an embarrassingly low value, and I was like, I just don't even want to see this. I was like, get this out of my wallet. And like now I look at it, and it's like, I think I sold it probably when it was like 10 cents, and I think it's multiple. Right. It's like multiple dollars now, but it's just when everything's going down, it definitely feels like it feels like it's over. It feels like the whole thing's over. It feels like you should, pack up and leave. But it nowadays there's so many people in it now, like so many institutions in it. This is gonna hit a stable point, and then it'll do the same running again. It's done it like 4 times.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Mario, that's a good point. The amount of companies now that are doing things with Web3. I mean, Instagram just announced that it was trying to do, it's going to start letting people use verified NFTs. And I mean, yeah, the adoption is just going crazy. So it's really just getting started.
And like even independent of applications, just the amount of like major old school finance that is now like deeply invested in this area. It takes like a lot to like, you have to move mountains for them to even get to that point, and for them to like get back out of it again is going to be equally impossible. Like we're in now. So there's a lot of money, a lot of people, and a lot of resources behind keeping this thing going beyond this particular crash.
Yeah, and Mari, as someone who's sold some NFTs, and I think the NFT market has some scary numbers now. Like, I don't know what is that, but like, how do you feel about this? I mean, have you been investing for value as a collector? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been long term with my investment plan, and this is one thing I always tell people: invest what you can afford to lose, and that way you can have your peace of mind throughout the whole time, through the bear markets, through the bull markets. Yeah. So for me, it's been all about like level-headedness and understand that this is a correction. These past 2 years, the markets, and not just the crypto markets, got to look at the stock markets, got to look at the real estate markets. Everything has just been hyped up and crazy. There's been so much cash injection into the economy. And so when you have all of this money flying all over the place, it's going to be natural that the bull's going to ride for a really long time. And right now we're just seeing the bull just start to buck down and go into the bear. So for me, like as an NFT, I feel like art is always going to be a stable thing. It's always going to keep that inherent value, and crypto, the financial stuff, that's going to go up and down naturally. But at the end of the day, you got to think about the long term. You got to think about all of the factors that are going into the macro factors, going into crypto. It's not just the crypto markets, it's the stock markets as well. And with companies integrating Web3 and crypto more into their game plans, you can, I don't want to say guarantee, but you can almost guarantee that it's going to be around for some time, and that people are seeing the value in it. Companies, and like you say, institutions are seeing the value in crypto, and they see this as a prime opportunity. So why shouldn't we?
Yeah, 100%. And I think you're talking about all these things just starting. I'm sure. I think Google just announced that they're releasing Web3 tools for developers. So if you already have something on the blockchain right now, that's the beauty of the blockchain, is like these things are going to be built and everything's interoperable. I don't know if it'd be possible if Facebook built something that can recognize NFTs on the blockchain. I don't think it would be possible for them to really discriminate on what is actually acknowledged or not. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. But basically, it's like owning a physical good, and you can bring it wherever you want. You bring it to a store with you, bring it to a party. It's like back in the day having CDs. You can play it anywhere that there's a CD player. So, and that's once companies start acknowledging that, and then people start using their own things, like that's going to be the norm. So anyone who's doing it now, like I said, you've started something that is going to be the norm in like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm like, one of the things you mentioned is that like art's never going to go away, and that's true. But like to even like take that one step further, like art is such a mainstay in just human history that just the fact that this technology has just created a couple more ways for people to like interact with each other on it, or to transact on it, or to like, you know, make a living out of it, how to communicate with it, and like how to represent themselves with it online. Like these things are behaviors that are so permanent that like once these two, like art and this particular technology have touched, like there's no way that they ever separate again. Like regardless of whether this particular fervor right now, where like a single image is going to be worth, you know, $100 million, regardless of whether that dies down, the sort of the synergy between this technology and art world in general that's like permanent. So anybody
Mhm.
getting it is going to be like a trailblazer in this new kind of landscape that's being generated by these two things.
Yeah. And if you bought NFTs of artists that you genuinely like and support, I mean, you know, you didn't lose. You don't lose anything if you're buying things you actually, you know, want or believe in. So I think it's, you know, like it's the same. I'm gonna buy NFTs from people I want to support. I'm not gonna just buy. Kind of makes those algorithmically generated ones like the Bored Apes. It makes it a little bit silly when you take the value away from it. Like those aren't collectible. Do you just want that piece of art? I don't know. I'm not actually. I think that was like a fun. I think now they just have a club, which is amazing. It's like a great club to be a part of. But you know, that's less about the art. That's more about the exclusivity.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely. If there's anyone, as we just wait a little longer, if there's anyone who has questions and wants to sort of if anyone wants to hop on, that's definitely cool. But yeah, I mean, Mari, I think last time we were talking about like the platform and being an artist and how the platform is really the point of power. And then on the following one, I don't know if you made it for that, but we had um, some content creators, some influencers hop in and sort of talk about what it's like making money for them. Do you feel like there's any platform? I guess what would you say the last platform you felt really good on as an artist, as a creator?
Talking about Web3 or Web2?
I would say web. Well, if there's a Web3 one, let me know. But Web
Yeah.
two.
The last one I felt really good on as a, you know, that's really tough because I go up and down with my sentiment on the platforms, you know, just to according to where things are in technology in general. I love, and this may be this may seem, you know, antithetical to Web3, but I actually do love Spotify because of the analytics that they provide. Um, you know, I love that it just offers some form of transparency into the statistics of other artists. Um, it is a bit on a surface level, like just on play count or whatever. But as an artist, like what you're able to get, like through the stats, knowing like where your listeners are and stuff, I think that's great. As far as like the payouts and everything go, that's something I have to come to terms with. One of those things where there's always going to be demand for it, and as long as it's going to be easy for people to make music, there's going to be more music getting put into the pool, and so that just means that the slice of the pie that you're getting is going to be getting smaller infinitely. So I think coming to terms with like what Web 2, you know, is able to provide, and just the opportunity that it opens up for everyone is still such a great precursor to Web3. And I think Spotify is a company that's shown like what the power of, you know, decentralized distribution could look like, because anybody can distribute their music, right? But yeah, the payouts do suck, but that just also forces you to get more creative in how you're approaching your art, how you're approaching your music, how you get people to consume what you're getting, to be able to understand the value of NFTs more, to understand the values of sharing ownership with people, or being able to give someone a token, and be direct to customer, if you will, Because yes, while I am getting the analytics and everything from Spotify, I can't get that granular information about who exactly that person is or any type of like identification. But with an NFT, you can trace back to a wallet and that utility is still there. I
Hmm.
can't get special access to my show because they listen to my music on Spotify. But if I see that you collected one of my NFTs, you know, by scanning people who hold the code or the hash code to my NFT, then I can be like, all right, let me try to get in touch with this person. Let me put some information out there to let people who are holding this NFT know that, hey, if I have a show in your city, yo, we can be backstage, like we can go out to dinner, we can kick it, all that. But you don't quite get that capability with Spotify. But I do love how it does open the gate for people to distribute their art.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean Spotify is wild because it's so easy now to get your stuff on Spotify. That like it blows my mind, and you could get paid from it. But yeah, the split thing is crazy because yeah, every time they add a new artist, you're technically getting every time someone else gets a play, you're getting a smaller fraction. They I did read that they might want to change it so that you get paid based on what the subscription, like if I pay $15 a month and I only listen to you, you would get all 15. I think that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think the thing with like NFTs is like you could like the possibilities are endless. Once someone has like an NFT that says, "Oh, I bought this album or whatever," you could do anything with that. You could make it. You could partner with Nike and say, or any brand and be like, when someone with this in their wallet buys something from you, they also get this.
Yep.
You know,
They get
anyone can do that.
Yeah, it's interesting because like the way that algorithm works, or the way that the payout sort of process works, like it is true that like more people getting on there does slice the pie smaller, like so that is a factor, but it's funny. It's almost like blaming the victim a little bit because it's like like there are very specific circumstances that led to these systems being put into place, and like I feel like a part of why like the pie that is being given to these artists is so small in the first place is that there's just like the music industry is just a huge machine, and a lot of the money that is coming into this industry is going towards making that machine work and keeping a whole bunch of huge corporations solvent and paying off a whole bunch of big execs and all kinds of stuff. And like I used to work as a product manager and doing research in the music tech industry, and like there's just a whole lot of fat there that I think a lot of these newer projects like the Web3 projects that are trying to sort of be the new Spotify are exploring ways to replace. They're saying like we don't need as many people who are getting these huge payoffs on the backs of all the artists who are making music. We can just give the money to the artist, like I think like Audius and in other platforms like Theta and like various types of content creation are all trying to do the same thing, which is how do we recreate this mechanism of having a distribution platform for artists to reach the public without so much of the value being created by that going to people who are not those artists. And I think that's the offer of Web3, right? That's kind of the point of all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is with Web3, the artist can be fully independent and not like you don't have to be part of a conglomerate. Like the thing at the center can be your music. And if you have the means to, share the revenue through smart contracts, you can kind of make anyone a partner. And then sort of everything orbits around you. Whereas like now everything orbits around Universal, pretty much just Universal. like
Universal, Warner, and Sony.
Yeah, Warner and Sony, yeah. And it's like, so for them, and then they make all their money off about 10 artists. So then everyone else who's on that label is kind of like, you got to get lucky in the swirl of all that. And Yeah, it's just a lot of people right now in the industry who like there's a lot of fat, like you said, Garrett. So it's like if we make it about just the artists and give them the power to do handle the financial stuff, because that's really what is obscured for most artists. Like you think it's also complicated, and it's getting easier by the day, and pretty soon it's going to be like second nature. Like you wouldn't need like to sign a contract with someone so they could set up your Facebook page. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't like have someone be like, hey son, give me like 50% of everything you make and I'll make a Facebook page for you. It's like that doesn't make any sense. So it should be that easy soon. I think people
Yeah.
just got to get over like it's not going to be about the stars. I don't think you're going to have a Web3 platform blow up because like Drake is on it or something like that. It'll probably just have to grow like naturally.
Yeah. Like, you know, almost everybody in the world is listening to music, and a good portion of them are spending money on it. So like if you're making music and people are listening to you and you're not getting rich, like somebody is. I promise
Yeah.
somebody's getting rich. It might not be you. But like why shouldn't it be, you know?
Yeah. No,
Somebody.
totally.
Yeah. And like that's kind of I feel like I might be a little vague when I talk about sort of how this technology is like going to change the world when we get past just making like, you know, digital money. But like that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like when we talk about building trustless systems, um, it's taking out the middleman who has authority over what the final outcome of the system is going to be, and moving it towards it just being a transaction between the people who use it, between the people who have value in those systems. So like the music industry is a great example. It's saying that there's not some fat cats who are like smoking cigars in some dark room who get to decide what portion of the money generated by music goes to the musicians. It's being just decided by the people who make the music and the people who listen to the music. There's nobody in between. And there are endless examples in the world where somebody has found a way to extract value out of interactions between two other people, where that person is not necessary anymore, because we can build infrastructure that that circumvents the systems that they've set up to do that.
Yeah, I think if a middleman is not teaching you something that you would not know otherwise, then they have no purpose. And I think that's the thing that the labels kind of stop doing, is like they don't develop artists anymore. Like I think a deal would make sense if the label is invested in, you know, your talent, your skill, but they just don't really care anymore. They expect you to come kind of fully baked. And yeah, I think it's the middlemen are gonna be struggling, because as long as you have a phone and the internet, you can really do most of the things that you need to do. And once we get crypto running smoothly overall, I mean, that's the financial piece, which is like the last thing that is just like covered up in this old text and logic and lingo that tries to obscure it from people so that I could, we could just pull the wool over your eyes. But, I think that's the thing with Web3 is it's gonna make finance simpler, because now I can kind of, I can make a token for anything. So it just becomes like bartering again, almost like trading. Like I'll give you some of these tokens that you can use for your music video. You can pay this person and you give me some tokens. I'm gonna use that to buy some promotion here and then get some artwork done from this person. And it'll just be flowing like that. So it's really exciting.
And once you take the media middleman out of it, like how do we figure out what gets exposed to the masses? What gets shown, what gets promoted. That's when it's becoming really powerful. So just that model of having a link with Vibranium and being able to create a more direct way to market things, a direct way to advertise things. I think that's going to be huge, because a lot of artists these days, they're trying to figure out how to promote their stuff. We can use Facebook ads, but you only get so much with ads. You can do the YouTube or Google ads for YouTube or whatnot. And so when you don't really, when you can't really create like a direct connection, with how your stuff is getting marketed, how art is getting heard, or how your product is getting sold, it puts you in a tough position because, like you say, the middleman, they're capturing all of that value, and they're capturing the value between consumer end and producer end, and just being able to just knock that out and use technology that can create
Hmm.
a direct connection between the two, where that value can just circulate, more directly. I think is definitely is revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about like the link creation and the promotion, you can make your group chat, your like your social connections into, a mini marketing PR team for that moment. So it's really what we're trying to do for our Vibranium is help these spontaneous, collaborative financial events happen. So you have a song out. I think it's dope. I'm gonna start sharing it. We're all gonna start sharing it. That's gonna earn some tokens. Like then maybe you want to apply for a loan to get something produced or to get the album mastered. It can all be tied together, and I think that's what we're building towards, and that takes time. It's not a quick, get rich quick scheme, but that is a new paradigm that we're building towards. Garrett, I know you got to go soon. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just that I think it's funny that the Web two solutions, including Spotify, were kind of supposed to, and SoundCloud, were kind of supposed to replace all the fat in the industry in the first place. Like they were already like they built a new distribution infrastructure that was meant to replace the studio and the radio execs and the music sales corporations like they're meant to take all that out and just say like we are giving artists a direct platform to their audiences, and that will allow like we'll finally have found that like magic pill that is going to make it possible for artists to live off of their work, like which is what everyone's trying to do, right? But somehow it ended up replacing it with the exact same thing that it was before, which is just that like you still can't see what the exact route is between a dollar spent on your money and the tenth of a cent that you get out of it, or actually much less than that in most cases. And I think the reason is because the infrastructure wasn't the problem. Like the infrastructure wasn't fundamentally broken. It was the fact that we had trusted authorities who were in control of that infrastructure, and so we just got some authorities who gave us some new infrastructure, and and ended up in the same situation because having them make decisions that are supposed to at the same time like meet their corporate bottom line while also supposedly serve the artists, is there's always going to be a conflict of interest there. And so what we need to extract trusted authorities from the system.
Word. Okay, I think I lost the last part of that, but no, I think what you said is so true. It's hilarious. I think the thing that this is one of the big things with Vibranium, while we're starting with the Vfluence piece, is because what they always tighten, the middlemen, they're always going to tighten up that attention that you can get, the organic attention. They're going to get you in there hooked on the easy streams, the easy retweets, easy posts, easy TikTok views, and then they'll tighten that attention knob. And that's been the whole Web 2 model. That's how they make their money. So if we build our own attention network, which literally already exists, it's just not structured. You have an attention network. Everyone has an attention network in their phone with the people they call and speak to on a daily basis. You don't need to be incentivized to do that. So we already communicate with each other. We just sort of got hooked on this idea of like, oh, I can get this instant huge audience, but they always charge for that. So it's tough. But yeah, man, I liked your answer though about Spotify, because I was gonna say my favorite was Hype Machine, because that was the first one I got any
Oh
sort of action on. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, that's when they kind of your song can pretty much chart or something like that. And I don't know, you may be able to break it down better than, but I used it before.
Yeah, it was basically like an aggregator of blogs. It's crazy. Music blogs don't exist anymore, but it would take all the posts from music blogs that week, and then you could vote on it in a different, sort of compilation. But it's the same thing where you had these aggregators. Spotify now, it's the playlists are the thing you want to get on, but blogs used to be the thing. And if you get on a few good blogs, you would kind of chart on Hype Machine, and it's yeah, I just think that it's crazy. We always have something like that, and then it gets warped. But if you build it so that you don't lose that attention, it's it's that's what the internet is, and that's when we really feel like, wow, this is an amazing social network I'm on. Twitter felt like that. TikTok kind of feels like that now. I'd say Instagram used to feel like that. Like this is crazy, and then you get in that place where you gotta start paying for reach, paying for ads, and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the, it goes down to the foundation of those companies. They take the VC funding and, they it's all about the bottom line for them, right? They want to make as much money as possible. And so what ends up happening is, these social networks end up getting pimped out to the advertisers, to the huge companies trying to sell their products. And it's no longer about that organic connection.
Yeah. And that's the thing, actually, I'm so glad you said that, because that's what we often forget about with crypto is like it's funded by the people. So the incentives that the people have are going to align with what makes the platform good to use. If you're a VC, you put, 100 million into Facebook, you're going to at some point be like, all right, you guys got to start charging people to use their groups, to use their accounts. If you have a corporate page, you got to pay for that. And, the users, that's not in their best interest. So that's why crypto it goes so deep, and it's so much deeper than just, I'm going to put this money in and it's going to be worth 20x in a couple years. It's a deeper change in the system. So yeah, now that is, can't forget that. Can't forget that.
Utility, everything, like being able to see some of that power, and where your money goes, where your attention goes, that, like that's a currency, your attention, because what happens, that attention ends up getting into real money when we go out here and buy these products. We go visit that site. So that was advertised to us and cop something from there. Yeah, gotta, crypto gives us the time to allocate our attention and our resources more directly, and to be able to see the impact, but also like see our contribution in the impact and reap benefits from it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Real quick, I just want to know how many people who are in the chat or who have been in here have already joined the Discord, because that's we're transferring over from Telegram. We had a booming Telegram, but I think Discord is a place for us now. If you haven't already, just go to the bio and join the Discord there. We're going to keep these talks going. And Mari, I would definitely want to thank you for jumping on. I'm glad you came back, because you kicked it off nice for us. And yeah, Reese, you had a good point about your own universe. I wanted to respond to that, because that is what we're talking about. It's shrinking these things down that we've always kind of felt like belonged in these like far off buildings where there's people doing stuff we don't understand. It's shrinking them down and bringing them into our hands, and that's what's going to change everything. Because once it's like that, then the incentives are going to be totally different. Social media would be so different if they didn't have to pay back a bunch of money that they raised early on. So it's something that we all get to participate in. And with Vibranium, these conversations are just kind of like to get the juices flowing, because we have these foundation, we have these pillars, but there's so many things you can build on top of it. So we're just trying to spark more ideas, keep interested people, keep them thinking and brainstorming on solutions. Because this is the start of something. Seriously, yeah. So appreciate everyone who hopped on. Our Friday day is gonna stay. We're gonna find the right time. Maybe we'll do a little earlier, a little later. I'm not sure. Last week we did a 8 that really, I don't know, everyone was up late last Friday. So we'll see what we do. But thanks for coming. Thanks, Mari, for hopping on. Yes, thank you. I hope it was informative, and just stay strong. It's you're gonna see probably a lot of red in the market, but we're building early. So we got someone who wants to hop on real quick. Let's see. Let's see if he wants to hop up. Oh, never mind. Okay, cool. Well, this will be posted. Thanks for coming. Oh, now we got more people coming in, so maybe hold on for a little bit.
What's going on? Is
what was that?
People trying to see what's going on.
I know. This
cool.
is we're dropping gems, so it's a very important place to be.
Anybody got questions out there? Is anything that's been going on in your mind about the state of the world, state of the markets?
Yeah. Any questions? I mean, this is what these are for, to kind of get everyone together. And we already did a video sort of breaking down how the Vibranium network works, but you can go to vibranium.network, check that out. Still currently hiring. If anyone knows any full-end devs. Chrissy, the project's coming along. We're going into heavy dev mode. So the social media is we're working on that branding. We have our designers working on some new designs, the screens, the app, everything's being built right now. So we're looking at a late summer beta launch. So if you're on the Discord, you follow here, you'll get some information on that. But yeah, we're slowly starting to ramp up right now. It's about putting our boots to the ground. Yeah, go check out the website. Get all the information you need there. You can find out more if you want to invest, if you want to just sort of read more about the team. But we're gonna do these every other Friday. And when we start having screens to demo and other things to show, we can definitely do that. Yeah, and we are hiring. Currently, we're hiring. We're looking for a full stack web developer and a developer who knows Solidity. But we're definitely looking for anyone who's interested in helping. So you can either DM us here, or you can send a message through the website. But yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate everyone here. We're really trying to raise the vibration, raise the thought. I mean, I don't know if anyone else listens to the new Kendrick album, but it definitely, especially the song, The Heart 5, but the whole album is really about kind of like, what are we going to do building like a new sort of culture that's like past the current one. I think everyone knows that we're at a tipping point where things can't be the way they've been in every way. So, okay, great. Yeah. So I think, we're really just trying to get everyone's eyes open, because I think, what I found is everyone is now living in a way, I kind of feel like everyone's kind of an artist, living like an artist now, more so than like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I felt very sort of like weird and alone, as a sort of like I'm trying to make things in the world, use the internet to help me do it. But now I think everyone's like that. So we're this tipping point where people are just like, I'm not gonna put up with something that doesn't work with me.
That's 1,000%. I've gone through that Kendrick album like 3 times, and I feel like he really just embodied what we've been feeling for the last few years. And this is the time, really. You know,
Yeah.
done. Lip service is over. It's we have the technology to make things happen. Um, we have the community power to do so. Yeah, it just really reimagining our culture worldwide. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I watched this is real random, but I watched the original Matrix
Mm.
again, and you remember Link? I forget the guy's name, the actor's name, but he had the dreads. He was like one of the coders.
Yeah, the black guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of the actor's name. He's been in other stuff, but like
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I'm like, you know what's crazy? Like in sci-fi movies, the black character always either has like electric powers or he's like the tech or something. And I'm like, why is it always like in the future that's what it is? But I'm like, maybe that's a little something we should think about because like there's something to that. There's something to that connection with technology that could be something. That's something we gotta we gotta like really think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
So.
Ancient mathematics. Yo, it's been a part of us from the beginning. It's been
Hmm.
been stripped away,
Hmm.
and the story has just been distorted. History has been distorted to take that the power of math and science away from us and to make us afraid of it.
Hmm.
And we're at that point where like, nah, we're about to get a hold on this. We're about to get a grasp on that and reclaim that ancient knowledge.
Hmm.
And they're dropping little pieces of it, through sci-fi. Um, yeah. So I think it's about tracing everything and seeing where all the dots connect as far as what our role is and reclaiming that power and technology because there's definitely something to unpack there.
Yeah, there's something there, and we can't be scared of it, like you said. We can't think of it as like, oh, that's for someone else to deal with. It's like, yeah, new technology is how you do new things. So if you want to change something, you got to find a new tool or a new way to use it. You got to take a new tool. I mean, I even think about hip hop is based on technology. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this piece of technology that's made for this. I'm gonna jigger it like this,
Yeah.
and then the guy who made the 808, the 808 drum kit, like that was a Japanese guy. I mean, great sound, but I'm sure he never thought of using it like melodically the way it's being used now. Like that's crazy.
We're a tonal people. Like, I'm sure a lot of our native tongue was just really, really melodic. And so just being able to reconnect with that and bridge cultures, over in Africa, um,
Hmm.
here in the Western Hemisphere, North and South. It's just like we've always been all over, and we've always had such a unique way of communicating. And so, a lot of it was birthed from just how we lived and what our culture has always been, and
Hmm.
claiming that. And I was looking at something about like just the frequencies of music today, and like how like with the low 808s, it's just been kind of, I guess, bringing down the frequency um, of our lives in general. Just with with trap and like I love all kinds of music or whatever, but just like thinking about how certain frequencies, how certain tones can like make us react. It's just something I really had to unpack and explore more as far as the role of music, the role of tones, the role of frequencies, because it's all math. That's the thing,
Hmm.
literally all math. Also,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, it's
don't be
it's incredible. It's incredible. It's all math. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. Music is life. It's the rhythm is definitely what ties us together, and I think like that's why you have, you have Burna Boy, you have all these artists who can like immediately pop here. And I think the crazy thing that people don't think about is like through hip hop, through, even One Dance with Drake, we've slowly been educating the ears of the whole country
Yep.
on like how does it feel when the snare is like this, or how does it feel when the shaker is the percussion and not a hi-hat. Yeah, and I think the thing with Afropop is way more melodic. So I
Yes.
think, it's just a constant evolution. I think the thing that I think we all need to make sure is like, we know we're going to constantly be coming up with new ideas. Let's just make sure we have a wall this time, something to keep it in, because they're going to come, everyone's going to come eventually. So let's just build the wall first, because before something pops up, and like, then
Right.
that's the new genre, because
Exactly.
like no one knew, hip hop was, it's like the world's biggest genre. And I'm sure when they started it, they didn't know that it would be everything.
Oh, they didn't want anything to do with it. But guess
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
When technology popped it off, even from like being able to burn CDs, burn mix CDs, it was a wrap then. Like once we gained the power to do that, it was game over. We just hip hop took it to a whole other level, and technology helped usher that movement. And I think technology made the world become more honest in what was creating the soundtracks for our lives. And hip hop, and now and Afro beats, all of the music that's, like Quincy Jones said, everything originated from Africa, from the motherland, or just our indigenous lands. Period. Whether
Yeah.
that's and that's a whole other thing when we talk about indigenous lands other than Africa. But like all of this is stemming from that energy, those vibrations, that we've been able to create throughout centuries.
Yeah. And I think, we could talk about like how music is a metaphor for everything. But I think the thing about what blockchain technology does, when I first learned about it, I was trying to conceptualize it. Like, how does it make sense? I'm making an entry on the blockchain. Someone could send something to me. But really, all you're doing is you're sending a signal that is then getting acknowledged by a web of things that are acknowledging it. So in a way, I was like, it's almost like a drum circle, and you're adding in your sound, and your sound is saying like, okay, I'm now sending this signal here, I'm sending this here. It's like, it's a different type of network that we haven't had before. If you think about Web 2 is like a library. Web 2 is like, here's a book, open the book. Oh, you can put stuff in the book, but it's not like a living interactive thing that everyone's contributing to at the same time. So this is a new technology. I think we have a special way of thinking, and I think we have to apply that, because it's just so right. It's so right.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
That's call and response at its finest. You send, like you say, you send that signal, you send that call, and you get that response. You send a signal of like, I want this, and the response is you get that back directly to you. No and trying to facilitate it, but it's it's a blockchain, a snapshot of all the transactions that are going on, that are validating what just happened, and that the thing someone just requested is getting sent directly to them. And that two-way transaction is being completed in a trustless way. It's like no middleman that you got to trust in order for this to go down. It's trust from point A to point B.
Yeah, it's direct. And like you said something about honesty and technology helping you be honest, and it's like rhythm is also about honesty. If you ever played music with anyone, or you can kind of tell when someone is like in the zone, or not, because when you get in the pocket, you can't fake being in the pocket. That's like honesty. So
you can't fake the funk.
You can't fake the funk. You can't fake the funk. Exactly. You can't fake the funk. You can't fake the funk. So that's what we got to really apply our way of approaching things to this technology, because you can't fake the funk. You can't fake the immutable blockchain. You can't fake the fact that you were late on that. So what's the next note you're going to play? Are you going to play a note that resolves that one? You can't erase it. You can't, so it's like, man.
Yo, yeah, that's the keys. The keys right there. Wow.
Yeah, man. But wow. Yeah, Chrissy, I really definitely we'll talk on Discord, because the other thing we're kind of trying to build out a community management team. So definitely want to talk about that with you, because it's got to start one by one, building it one person at a time. Man, Mari, we could talk all night.
Yeah, I know. But having me once again. I appreciate everyone who's tuning in. Vibranium, it's special. Yeah, I'm just blessed to be a part.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate everyone. Thank you for being here on a Friday night. We're gonna keep it going. Okay, wait, hold on. We got one more. We got a special guest who wants to hop in. Let's see. Yo, what's up?
Hello. Walking the streets of Philadelphia.
Oh wow.
UPenn reunion right now.
What?
Yes.
Really?
I'm here with some of the old heads.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, man? Anyway, I just wanted to shout y'all out. And I know you guys have been having a good conversation. Whoops. Sorry about that. Street noise. But we really got to talk about just the differences between, these coins that are being propped up, and we really have to start defining blockchain technology solutions differently than this cryptocurrency speculative market. And I don't know how much you guys got into that, but I think it's just an important topic for people to understand.
Yeah, no. We talked about that earlier, but I think I'm probably a whole different group of people. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, basically, like, we are building something that is starting with value, and a lot of these other products are kind of based on like the idea.
Universal machine in a room, like 50 people
And,
in a room,
hold on.
10 by 10.
And basically, these projects that are getting propped up, these stable coins, these are people trying to build what you would call, like, they're trying to make money out of nothing. These kind of crypto primitives, these things they want everything else to run on. And, that's valid. I think some are going to win. And I think a lot of people want to cash out. They want to put I put 100 in now and it's $1 million now. And I think the issue is that they're basically trying to game the system with the money they already have, the connections they have. Some of these big investment firms own like so much of these projects. Like Solana, I think is a great project, but it is so much dominated by like a group of billionaires who are already rich. So it's like, they're not going to build something that's going to change their position. So you can ride up the wave with them a little bit, but what we're doing is we're using the tools of blockchain and Ethereum currently, but we're using those to build something new from the ground up that makes a new foundation of value. We're trying to turn something right now that is undervalued into a unit of measurable value. And that's the difference. So you see these numbers going up and down. That's just because it's 90% speculation. And that's the bottom line. So.
All right, please, everyone, write that down. Speculation versus tangible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, speculation is speculation. Art is speculation. There's a lot of things that's speculation. There's nothing new about speculation. What's new is a technology where you could build something that's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to, whether it's us, Vibranium, or any other project you're going to support. Make sure you understand what the technology is doing, why it deserves to exist, and what is the underlying utility around it.
Yep. yeah, if you can't explain simply why something has value, it doesn't mean, most of the time it's not that you don't understand it, it's that someone doesn't want you to understand it. So I think with the, the fact that there was a coin tied to a stable coin that was making people $1 billion, if you think about it, that sounds a little crazy, because why would something that's worth $1, how would I make money off of that? And it's because, yeah, it was basically a Ponzi scheme. So yeah, we are definitely trying to build value. We're trying to make sure that the value of the Vibranium token is tied to the value of the influence of the members of the network. So we want the people who have deep connections with culture, with what's important, so that like the next show, the next challenge or whatever, the next viral moment that gets started, is those people get the credit that they deserve. So that's where we're coming from. It's all the people who are losing money right now on Luna coin. That's speculation. That's speculation. It's not crypto as a whole. Crypto as a whole is a technology that you can definitely build some real value with.
Yeah, and I just want to shout out all my older, seasoned business people. Get you some young people to listen to, because they do know where the future is going. Get young people with integrity, intelligence, that are thorough, and we're going to be in good hands. We need to team up, and we need to do something special. So I'm excited about the team we have, and let's keep building it.
Yeah. The generations need to work together. This is like we're at a pivot point. So it is definitely exciting. And yeah, like the people even younger, younger than me, who grew up on the internet even more so, it's like they're the ones we got to look to. And I think if you look at what they're doing, everyone's an artist, everyone's a creator, and like that's the future. So man, shout out to Philly.
I'm right in your old dorm room. Low Rise North, right there.
I see it. That's
Panera
crazy.
Bread.
Oh, that's new. That's
the
crazy.
McDonald's that never goes away.
That McDonald's used to have a bouncer after midnight, literally, because it was dangerous.
it needed a bouncer.
It had a bouncer.
It needed one.
Yeah. All right. Oh, you cut out. But yeah, Mari, I want to let you go, because you gave us so much of your time, man, and it's always great talking to you. And yeah, this has been great. I love these Friday talks, and soon we're gonna be pulling everyone up. Shout out to SoCal, okay, and yeah, soon we're gonna be really showing some stuff on how the app's coming, and yeah, just everything, but. Exciting stuff. Big summer.
Much love.
Yeah. Any? Oh, sorry. What's up?
I was just saying, much love. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And yeah, hop in the Discord if you're not, and take care. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.